What's going on? Thanks for checking in. Have my girl Big Tina in the house today, third base at Florida State, and she's got those Christmas hams. All right, today I'm going to show you 3 exercises all baseball and softball players need to be doing for your hamstrings. Make sure you stay tuned. Check this one out. All right, first exercise, eccentrically overloading the hamstrings. You can get these sliders. These are just furniture sliders. They make them for exercise. Also, you can just get plates and then go on a carpet or go on turf. All right, so what Big Tina's gonna do, lay down. You're gonna dig your heels into these, both these plates. From this position, hips high into a glute bridge. Now go ahead and pull them in, contract them. From this position, you're gonna go one leg. So bring one leg up off the ground. Now you're gonna lower slow with that opposite hamstring. Good, go ahead, dig both of them in. High, lower slow with one. Good, all right, rest. Hey, to take this exercise one step further, you know, if you got girthy hammies, like Big Tina here, you can just go straight single leg. So you can contract it up with one leg and then lower it slow with the same leg. So go ahead, one at a time. So now you're getting the concentric action. Now the eccentric. Good. Up, lower slow. A lot of times athletes start to cramp in this position. It's not necessarily that they have weak hamstrings that they cramp, it's the mind-muscle connection. They can't neurologically send the signal to make sure the entire hamstring working. All right, that's why I don't like fixed knee positions on like your hamstring curl machines at the gym, because it's forcing you to only use a portion of the hamstring. In athletics, that's where things would go wrong, is when that mind-muscle connection kind of blanks out and you only start to use a certain amount of the hamstring, putting too much force on it. That's when the hamstring starts to pull. We need to use the entire posterior chain when we release that hamstring, when we swing, when we hit, when we run, when we throw, etc. All right, next one here, we're simulating running mechanics with a cable pulley machine. So I have a cable here, I have my Kaiser. These are the best for this because it's air resisted. But if you don't have one of these, simply use a band or use a cable pulley machine. All right, so what we're gonna do is attach it to the ankle, all right, and put it at a low fulcrum point, one of the arms. Big Tina's gonna go up, flex at the hip flexor like she's taking off the sprint. From this, she's gonna slowly release the hamstring, straight, 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 straight. So go full extension and then snap back down using the glute and using the hamstring. So go ahead, go back up, hip high, lower slow. And you can get this machine going, you know, fairly heavy if you're more focused on the eccentric, and then you can lighten it if you're trying to overspeed train. So go ahead, I'm gonna go a little bit heavier now. Lower slow, snap it down, good. So the hamstring, you have to be able to accept force at a very high speed, but the hamstrings also have one of the most type 2 fibers out of any muscle in the body, so you have to train it very, very fast at a very high contraction velocity. So it needs to eccentrically overload and then contract with high, high force. All right, next one, gold standard. If you're an athlete, not just a baseball, softball player, you need to be doing this one. You know, it's gained a lot of popularity online. Knees over toes guy brought it to light. It is the NORDIC curl. They've done a lot of research on this particular exercise, linking it to increased sprint speeds and sprinters, right? And then bulletproofing the hamstrings, if you will, preventing for injury. Why? Because it eccentrically overloads the hamstring. So what we're gonna do, you can grab a buddy to do this. So I'm gonna act as Big Tina's buddy, or you can go on the rack if you don't have the rack attachment. All right, so I'm gonna hold Big Tina's ankles here. She's gonna lower eccentrically, lower slow, trying not to crease at the hip to go into a hinge. She's just gonna try to contract her glutes and hamstrings, lower slow, and then if you get really good at this, you don't have to support yourself up. You can just come right up out of it. So go ahead. Yeah. All right, hey, scaling down this exercise a little bit. If you have one of these pads at your gyms or a straight Nordic curl machine, obviously use that. You don't need to use a buddy. So go ahead and try one on here, Big Tina. Go down slow. Yeah, that's it. Not many girls can do that. Not many girls can do that. All right, to downsize this exercise one step further, you can use a GHD. So it allows the knee to sink to use more leverage. So this is a very hard version of the exercise, but if you can't do this, build up, use a band or use one of these GHDs. Look, lower slow, straight legs, and then come back up. Good, this machine's a little bit easier than with the fixed knee position or the buddy hammies because it allows that knee to kind of sink down to create more leverage. So if you're going step one, trying to do these Nordics, I would try to find yourself one of these GHD machines. Secondly, go to a fixed position on a rack, like with one of those rollers, maybe attach bands to it to make it a little easier out of the hole. And then the third progression, grab somebody, grab the heels, no band, and just lower slow, touch your chest, and pop back up. But the biggest thing to focus on during this exercise is that eccentric portion. Concentric is just icing on the cake. Hey, that's a wrap. Never meant a good baseball or softball player with weak hamstrings. Dial in those 3 exercises. Remember, pump out 2 of these videos per week. Do me a favor and subscribe for me. Appreciate you. Catch you next week. Game rewards the grind. It knows how much you invested.